it's kind of really when I get angry, I'm actually better. And if I give instructions for someone to do something and they don't do that, or either they intentionally, in my opinion, or whether it's inadvertently or obvious, or they're actually trying to do it, it actually makes me angry. And it's kind of good for you guys out there when I get angry, because when I get angry, then I have a better podcast because my passion come out. But folks, we got to start caring about our children. We got to really do. But sometimes our children don't do what they need to do to be okay, because they're so used to doing something. Let me tell you what is hard. It's hard to break a habit. I don't care what it is. It can be a habit of smoking cigarettes. It can be a habit of drinking alcohol. It can be a habit of just say making love. It can be a habit of being hard headed. It can be a habit of not following directions. It can be a habit of being disruptive. It can be a habit of not doing what you need to do to be okay. A habit is hard to break. So when we have habits and we recognize habits in others, but we don't recognize habits in each other. So when we recognize those habits in others and we don't recognize it in ourselves, then what we need to do is face the harsh face of reality by looking into the mirror and do a honest assessment of who we are and what we are. And what I mean by that, it is so many. Our community is in dire straits. I tell you, folks, that our community is so bad and it's sad. It is sad when a teacher will come down to the level of a child. It is sad when a child try to get out of their place by being some other than a child. That's mean what you call. We used to say, "You're being fast," or "boys being managed." In other words, you're out of your place. You're out of a child place and being more of an adult place when you don't have adult resources. Folks, I tell you what. Sometimes I like get tired. I get tired of fighting the battles. I get tired of doing things, and I do so much. I know some of you out there probably listen at me, and sometimes I maybe I say that I'm going to do something today or tomorrow, but folks, I am only one person. I don't have a staff. And so, but I try so hard to bring you information that you're not going to get. And I try to instruct you. I don't just tell you about the problem. I tell you what you need to do in order to solve the problem. All the talking I've done and all the things that I say and all the things that I do, there's only one solution to that problem, and that's for you to get out there and become a part of the political process. Even when you don't vote, you're voting. And what I mean by that, when you don't vote, how you vote is that you were voting for things to remain the same. It takes it take the village to raise a child. It take all of us coming together and putting our vote. We have to. Folks, we are the only race of people in this country that does not matter. They don't give a damn about us. They implement laws, and you're a fool if you think those laws are for you. Those laws are not for you. Those laws are for everybody else, for us. Case in point is the stand your ground law. I bet some of you out there in podcast land know of someone that has been arrested for murder or for aggravated assault, when the law in the state of Mississippi says that you can stand your ground if you in fear of losing your life. So the law is not applicable to us, meaning it does not apply to us. Every time a black person kills someone, look, I know some of you out there have family members that has been killed. And my point is that I'm on the side of the law, and I don't mean any misunderstanding. I don't mean to be disrespectful. And my condolences goes out to anyone that have lost a family member. But I tell you this, folks, is that the law got to work for us. Now we can still make the law work for us. They gonna ignore us until we stand up as a collective body. We are not a collective body. We are so divisive. We're so divided against each other. We don't stand together, come together for anything. Oh, we gonna read the National Enquirer, and what I mean by that is that anytime we giving some news about one of us, that's especially if it's something bad, then all of us will come together. Then we want to know what's going on, and we want to say this now. But I want to say this. I want to stop for a moment, and I want to say this. Y'all hear me? Last week I was saying that we need a new chief of police, and I still stand by that. But respect goes a long way. I want to send my condolences out to the Naylor family. Chief Young lost her mother, I'm told. And so I want to send my condolences out to the chief, because it's hard when you lose a loved one. No matter how long they've been in your life, when you lose someone that's close, like a mother or a father or a brother, sister, or a child, that is traumatizing. there's no way that anyone would ever get over losing a child, and nor will they. And some people grieve a long time on their mother, and the only reason why I don't grieve on my mother anymore because I lost my daughter. So there's nothing more detrimental to Virgin Maine than that. I mean, it hurts. That is, and that's the number one pain, is to lose a child. And it can be a grandchild too, especially if that grandchild is like a child. But I want to get back. I want to talk about my subjects today. My last two shows been pretty good, and it's always good because I'm educating you and I'm letting you know what's going on. I want to encourage you to. I want to encourage you to come and leave your comments and ask questions. And because if you ask me a question, it will prompt me to. Q just said she has something to say. So Q, go ahead and say what it is that you want to say. Good evening, bro Fred. Go ahead, Q.
I was going off of what you said, on your last subject. Like you was talking about how basically the laws aren't set up for us, it's set up for them. And as you look at it, we're still in a sense still in slavery. Like
That's
that
right.
just made me think about that. Like we're still being slaves. And I don't know. Then like this also made me brought up what you told me about this article. The reggae singer Bob Marley, he based the redemption song on the speech by, I'm reading notes, by the esteemed civil rights campaigner Marcus Garvey. And they said in 1937, he famously said, "We are going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery because while others might free the body, none but ourselves can free the mind." And so basically,
But that's a strong statement there.
yeah,
Y'all hear that, folks?
and that's what,
Free the body, but none but ourselves. Only we can free ourselves
yes,
mentally.
and Bob Marley said that in his song, in the Redemption song. He said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind."
Yeah. Thanks for that,
Hmm.
Q. And people, I can tell you that I do have another witness. I started this podcast early and I had to stop it, and that's kind of good because it gets me emotional, gets me passionate. Because when I get angry, I do become passionate, and you benefit from that out there, folks. One of the things I want to talk about is they do have a two-tier system, but we allow for that to happen. They do have a system set up where they take their children and they educate them and they teach them what it is that they need to know to take over for them. And we're the one that's not doing that. Get out of my way. One more word. Get somewhere and sit down. See, we have been conditioned to not pass the baton to our children. And so if you look at the plight of the black community, we're in dire straits. We're in really, really, really bad shape. Wow, my dog just came in. Folks, take over, Q, and while I handle this dog.
Okay.
Continue to elaborate about Bob Marley.
Yeah. So as I was saying about Bob Marley, like he was big. Bob Marley, Bob Marley was definitely big on unity and peace and one love, and that's what they didn't like in Jamaica. They had, at the time Bob Marley was alive, and when he really got famous around like the 1980s, 70s, like early 80s, it was two white leaders in Jamaica, and they were basically trying to keep Jamaica in slavery. And they wanted Bob Marley to choose a side. And when Bob Marley did not choose a side, they tried to assassinate him, but he survived. They tried to assassinate him, and then they shot his manager and they shot his wife, but they all survived. And basically, in the end, when it came down to it, he basically got these two rival leaders to unite. And like, there's a video on there, but I don't know where. But yeah, basically, like, I think people should listen to Bob Marley because all, like, not just one of his songs, but all of his songs has a message in them. You just gotta be a deep thinker, and you gotta listen to it. But that's all I wanted to say.
And I gotta say this too, Q, is that it's good that as young as you are, as young as she is, she's listening at that type of music and understanding the message, and we need more of that. I see what Brenda Hutton all, and I'm gonna do that. I'll say you're so correct about George Thomas. That's why he's still sitting on the board to keep people of color in their place. And that is so true. He'll stay there and die right there, and then they'll put someone else in his place to continue to do the same thing. Here it is that it is sad that we allow for the few to rule the many. And it has always been like that. And it will continue to be like that until we do something about that. They're not just doing what they're doing in Meridian, Mississippi. They've done that in other cities such as Birmingham, Alabama. They've done that there. Whereas you go into some of the neighborhoods that say 20 years ago, they would not even walk through those neighborhoods, but now they have the walking trails, the bike trails, and all the downtown clubs that they used to have that Ricky Smiley would go and perform at. And then maybe say groups like the Temptations, and I'm saying that, or like the groups that are here now, like Jawan will be able to go there. They're not able to go there now because those places have been turned into places that that only white people frequent. And you can see the same thing happening in Meridian, Mississippi. What's sad about this, folks, is that we have a majority black city council, and then we have a black mayor. And that's sad when you have that many people there. Even if the mayor, even though he was elected by the people, he was selected by the people. Once we see that selection is wrong, you have a choice. You're taking a test. Folks, when the selection is wrong, you got to get rid of it, change it out. Bring somebody else in there to take over. I used to talk about Dwayne Davis being mayor of Meridian. Dwayne Davis has not done all that he could do in order to make things better. They picked James Carter, definitely gonna run for mayor, folks. Y'all gotta send that little Negro, send him back to where he come from, keep him up out of there because they went and got him what they want, and he's not spending any of his money. When you do things to them, you don't have to spend your money. They will pay all the money for you. They will pay all your campaign. They will give you tens of thousands. They will give you hundreds of thousands. They will give you millions of dollars for things to remain the same. Money doesn't mean shit if you go out and vote. Money doesn't mean anything if you exercise your right to vote. We are the individuals. We are the people. It is us that are being maltreated. It is us that have been pushed from the table. We are the ones, folks, we own the damn table now because we're in a majority situation. If you're in a situation where you are the majority, you own the damn store. You own the table. The problem is that the storekeeper, the person that has the keys to the store, is not giving the resources to the people that's in a majority situation. Q, you got something to say about
We
that?
need to take back what's ours. Is basically we need to take back.
That's
We
right.
need to take back everything that's ours because we built this. We built this country, and they came and stole that. We basically built this country, so we need to take back what's ours.
That's right. And it is, but I gotta say this, Q, we built it. We'll be taking what's
Yeah,
ours, not taking it
that's what
back
I'm
because we
saying.
never had it.
Yeah,
And to keep us from benefiting from, say, the product that the store is selling or the product that the store is creating. The reason why we don't benefit from that is because they get the storekeeper who look like us
yeah.
but does not have our best
But
interests at
the
heart.
reason I said take back what's ours is because of the simple fact that white people basically did like they stole everything from us.
Oh, they done took everything from every race or every group of
Yeah,
people, just like they did. They
but they
decimated the
mostly
black.
stole from black people though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you, Q, for those comments. But Q been listening to Bob Marley. Y'all, I think the rest of y'all need to listen to Bob Marley. But she always, it's one of the things that make our relationship work is that she's very astute. You know, she's very unique for her age. I didn't teach her what she knows. She know what she know already. She's who she is already. And folks, I can tell you that I I I I I think that Dwayne Davis would be a better mayor than Jimmy. I think that Joe Norwood Jr. would be a better mayor than Jimmy. I think that Joe Norwood Sr. would be a better mayor than Jimmy. I even think that Ramondo Walker would be a better mayor than Jimmy. However, all of them have been compromised. Yes, I like Ty, but I don't think she'll make a good mayor. I don't think so. She's a very good mother, very good. I don't know about wife, but only Mr. Lindsay could say that. But I know that I've seen her. She's a hands-on parent. And she stand up for herself too. But folks, I gotta say this is that I don't think any of them would make a good mayor, because you got to look at what's going on in Meridian. When you see that our children not being educated, you see that anytime a black person do anything in Meridian, they get a high bond. They get charged even when they defended themselves. Such in the case of my niece, Pretoria Hope, defending herself. She was charged. Q, take over for a minute. I'm finna go hit the dog upside the head, folks. The dog keeps scratching at the door. That she wants to come in. And I want to apologize for this interruption, but go ahead, Q. Talk for a minute.
Okay. But yeah, I think if you really, I'm not trying to offend nobody, but I think if you really have a strong head on your shoulders and you a deep thinker, I really think that you should listen to Bob Marley, because every song, like I said before, every song that he ever did, like No Woman, No Cry, Buffalo Soldier, One Love, all of that, it all has a message in it. So like, if you're a really deep thinker and you really like, you got a strong head on your shoulder, then I think you should listen to Bob Marley, because not all of his songs, like all of his songs, have messages in it, and it's not just him recording a song. He in a sense, basically, like, he in a sense is trying to tell you, hey, it's time to unite. It's time to take back what's ours. It's time to stand up. He has a song called Get Up, Stand Up for your rights. Basically, he's telling you, stand up
That's
for what
right.
you believe in. You have a right to live, so stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for your rights.
That's right. And folks, you know what's right, and you know the difference. We all know what's right and from wrong. And I can tell you this, people, is that it is time for us to do what we need to do. We need to stand up for our
Mm-hmm.
rights, and we need to do something that's better and something different.
And that's why I said Bob Marley was ahead of his time, because he knew exactly what was going on, and he knew that it would not change overnight, and it would not be changed in a month or so. So that's why he made all of those songs. And my favorite one specifically is Get Up, Stand Up, because of the simple fact, look at what's going on today. Like, look at all the same stuff that was going on back then is still going on today. So it's like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, and you're correct, Q. And one of the things that our politicians is not so they're not as arrogant today as
right.
they was a year ago. And the reason why they're not so arrogant, because it's getting close to time for they gonna need you to
Mm-hmm.
vote to keep them in their job.
Right.
Now it's time to get their ass up out of there. We showed Percy Bland. Now I'm told Percy Bland not gonna run for mayor. I'm sure he's not, because he know I'm gonna be on his ass. Ain't nothing he can do about it. He doesn't have the police force to arrest me. He doesn't have that. But our police force is pretty notorious. We need something better than what we have in Meridian, Mississippi, for such as the police. Look, I like Benny DuBose, and I know him. I don't know him like Jimmy know him, but definitely a lot of people's at that, and he works at the police department. It's time for us to send the old school home and bring the new school in. Folks, let me tell you again, it's time to send the old school home. Telling you to they coming up. But I tell you, folks, it's time for us to do that. It is time for us to send the old school home and bring the new school in. It's time for us to bring somebody new in. Now, listen to me. Now, I don't care what Tyler Perry always say the day Mud Deer say today. Go back and watch all his movies, all his plays. Mud Deer say today. Mud Deer, it's time for Mud Deer to come in. It is time for Rita Jackson to come in there, folks. Now, some of you might have some problem with Rita. Well, you need to sit down and talk to her about it. Now, I got to tell y'all about Joe Biden. I don't like it. I don't like his particular form of presidency. I don't like the fact that he's as old as he is and he's running for president of the United States. Definitely don't like Donald Trump, folks. So what I got to do now is that I'm not so much voting for Joe Biden. I'm voting against Donald Trump ass. You understand what I'm saying? So for those of you got a problem with Joe Biden, it is time for us to re-elect this man, because there's nobody else more viable. We don't want to put a criminal there. That man got 90 charges. I don't give a damn how they came about. They're there. This man think he's a king. He's not. We have a democracy here. Send his ass home. Now, white folks ain't nothing but showing their racist mentality. The fact that they are selecting this man, meaning they don't give a damn about the laws of the land or the Constitution. Y'all see that shit all the time when you get charged by a police officer. When you go into Meridian City Court, you see ain't no justice up in there, ain't nobody in there but us, just us up in there. But there's no justice up in there when you have a selective enforcement of the law. It's time for us to get rid of that shit. Jimmy won't get rid of Dustin and John Howard, and we get rid of Jimmy ass and bring somebody that's going to clean that courtroom out. I assure you, under Rita Jackson administration, it'll be a clean house. And I tell you what, white folks, y'all hear me talking and shit, but don't get upset at me because of the things I'm saying. Because Rita is not speaking for me. I'm speaking for myself based on what I see. But I know Rita's a fair person. I know you all like Rita. Now, some of you out there might look and say this and say that. But look, that's ain't nothing as bad as what we got and what we done had. We can't go back to the past. Now, Jimmy ran for supervisor. The last time he ran for supervisor, we did not elect him as supervisor. We sent him home. We did not re-elect him. It is time for us to send his ass home again for the last time. It is time for us to stop bringing people there that's not going to do things for us. How do you tell? Because you still see the shit going on in the courtroom. You still see the stuff going on in the different communities and all that. And it's time for us to do something about it.